At 9:17 on the morning of January 22, 1943, Second Lieutenant John George lay belly down in the ruins of a Japanese bunker west of Point Cruz, cheek welded to a walnut stalk most of his fellow officers had mocked for weeks. 240 yards away, a banyan tree rose out of the jungle haze. Somewhere in its branches, one of 11 Japanese snipers who had killed 14 Americans in 3 days was waiting for another victim. The Army had issued everyone else an M1 Garand. 8 rounds, semi-automatic, government standard. George had spent 2 years of National Guard pay on a civilian Winchester Model 70 he'd ordered by mail, a .30-06 hunting rifle with a glass-smooth trigger and a Lyman Alaskan scope on top. When he'd unpacked it at Camp Forest, Tennessee, the armorer had smirked. "Deer rifle, Lieutenant? You in the wrong war?" His captain called it a sporting toy and told him to carry a real rifle. Then Guadalcanal changed everything. The 132nd Infantry relieved the Marines in late December 1942. The Marines had held Henderson Field, but the groves west of the Guadalcanal River were still Japanese country. On Mount Austen, George's battalion fought up the slopes for 16 days. Men fell to mortars, machine guns, exhaustion, while his prized Winchester rode unused on his shoulder. Around Point Cruz, the killing was different. No bonsai charges, no bunkers, just single cracks from the trees, and another man down with no enemy in sight. On January 19th, a sniper shot a soldier while he filled canteens. On the 20th, 2 more died on patrol. On the 21st, a bullet came from nowhere and punched through a man's neck on a trail they'd already walked. That night, the battalion commander finally snapped. He sent for the lieutenant with the toy rifle. George didn't boast. He gave numbers. Illinois State Rifle Champion at 1,000 yards. Gate groups at 600 with iron sights. 4-inch groups at 300 through that same Lyman scope. The colonel stared at him, then toward the groves. "Be in that bunker at first light. Either your mail order sweetheart can hit what these boys can't even see, or you go back to a Garand." That night, George stripped the Winchester, wiped away the last of the Cosmoline from its ocean voyage, checked every screw and mount. At dawn on January 22nd, he slid into the shattered Japanese bunker. No spotter, no radio, just 60 rounds of .30-06 in a canteen. The Lyman's 2.5 power magnification didn't sound impressive, but on Guadalcanal that little bit of glass turned shadows into shapes and shapes into men. The jungle was a wall of noise. Birds, insects, distant artillery. George ignored all of it and watched for movement, sweeping the trees left to right, methodically, top to bottom. At 9:17, a branch twitched high in that banyan with no wind to move it. He waited. A shape resolved. A man wedged into a fork where 3 branches met, rifle trained on the supply trail that kept his battalion alive. 2 clicks right for wind. Slow breath out. The Winchester kicked straight back. 240 yards away, the invisible sniper dropped through the branches and hit the jungle floor. The joke rifle had just drawn first blood. And over the next 4 days, that same mail-order toy would turn into the most trusted weapon in the regiment, as George hunted down every sniper who thought the jungle could hide him.